We went on a Mount Fuji tour using Klook on our trip to Japan, and here's how it went. This was the only time we used Klook on our entire trip to Japan. Everything else we booked directly. We wanted to go to Mount Fuji on our second day in Japan, so I decided to book a tour since we'd still be recovering from jet lag and we'd still be getting used to being in a new country. I didn't want to deal with figuring out transportation to all the places around Mount Fuji we wanted to go. It was really nice to have everything planned for us. All we had to do was show up, explore on our own at each stop, and then get back on the bus in time. It was really nice just to be a passenger princess for the day. This tour stopped at pretty much all the Mount Fuji spots I wanted to see, but there's a few different tours on Klook with different itineraries, so definitely see which works best for you. We walked from our hotel to meet up with our tour guide. There were a bunch of other tour groups meeting there, but I checked my WhatsApp and she had messaged me a picture of her sign, which made it way easier to find her. Then we hopped on the bus. When the tour started, she talked to everyone for a bit about Japanese culture and taught us some Japanese words. This is another reason I'm glad we booked the tour early on in the trip, because we got to learn a lot right at the beginning of the trip, and it really set the tone for the trip. We got to see Mount Fuji on the drive over. I'm so glad it was visible, because Mount Fuji is only visible around 90 days a year. Definitely keep this in mind if you plan on booking a tour. I know some people like to book the day before and check the Mount Fuji forecast to ensure they'll see it. Mount Fuji is more visible during the fall, which is when we went, so I took the risk of booking early in advance, and thankfully it worked out. Our first stop was just over an hour drive from the meeting point. This is a really popular spot for a stunning view of Mount Fuji with the 5-story pagoda. There were some really nice viewpoints along the way, but I was just so excited to get to the top. We had to go up a decent amount of stairs to get here, but it was worth it for this view. It was definitely crowded up here with everyone trying to get their own photos, so we didn't stay at the top too long, but we were able to get some pictures, and then we walked on some less busy paths and enjoyed the views from there. After we walked over to the next stop on the tour, this is another really popular photo spot. We got some pictures here. It wasn't nearly as busy over here, which was nice, but you only have a few seconds to get your pictures before the lights change. Then we went on the bus to get to our third stop on the tour, the Lawson's, that has Mount Fuji perfectly in the background. We made a short stop here just to take some pictures, and then we got back on the bus for lunch. Our tour guide organized this lunch. It was really good. You had the option of going for lunch with everyone or going somewhere on your own, but we chose the group lunch. After lunch, we headed over to our next stop. We had an hour here to walk around and explore on our own. I'm really glad the tour gave us lots of free time in each location. I ended up getting a matcha before we headed back on the bus for our next stop on the tour, Lake Kawaguchi. Although there weren't many fall leaves left, it was still a really beautiful view of Mount Fuji, and we enjoyed walking around here. They gave us about an hour to explore here on our own. And that was the last stop on our tour. We got stuck in traffic on the way back, so it took a while, but we kind of expected that. If you go on weekends or holidays, the traffic can be really long on the way back, but apparently weekdays are fine. On the way back, the bus stopped for a break where we could go to a konbini and use the washroom. Then it brought us back to the original meeting point, and we walked back to our hotel. I definitely recommend booking a Mount Fuji tour if there's a lot of places around Mount Fuji you want to go and you don't want to figure out transportation yourself. This tour made it so easy for us to see so much, and it was really nice having it all planned for us. If you want to book your own tour, you can use my code ROADSANDROAMSKLOOK for a discount.